Aloha, Rich Halverson here. Today I'm going to go over 14.7 lab, unique random integers. Let me share my screen. This one. So the idea of these short videos is you should really try to do these on your own, but if you're stuck, then you can come here for some good hints. Okay, so in this lab, we're supposed to we're given two integers, an integer called how many are that they're going to be, and an integer called max num, which is going to be the largest size of the integer, and we're supposed to create some random numbers, some random integers, and where it's this many of them. And the maximum number that the integer can have is this number, max num. Okay, so we're supposed to fill in this method here, unique random integers, which returns an array of this many unique random integers that are no larger, each are no larger than that. Okay, so hint, if a generated number is okay, so we're going to use hash sets, and the approach that we're going to do is every time we generate a random integer, we're going to stick it in a hash set so we remember it, and if it's not in the hash set already, then we're going to stick it in this array of random integers that we're creating. But if it is in the hash set, then we know not to put it in because it's already in there. We're also going to keep track of the number of retries. Okay. All right. So an example input is, let's say you want to generate 5 random integers. You want to return an integer array, 5 with 5 elements, and the maximum integer is 8. And so, for example, well, this is just an example, and what we do here is so we can check to make sure you're doing things right, is we use a seed, a random number seed in our random number generator. And this is so when our program starts generating a sequence of starts generating random integers, it's the same ones in the same sequence, and that way you can test your program, because otherwise they're random in that relative to each other they're random, but it's not random in the sense that when you put the same seed, you're going to get the same sequence each time you run. And of course you need that for testing. All right, so let's see what we got here. We're going to use a scanner because we're going to read stuff in. We're going to use a hash set, and we're going to use a random number generator. And I'll refer back to that in the textbook. In fact, let me just do it right now. Click here, and it's back in chapter 2, section 218, and I'm going to open this in a new window. I'm going to put this one here. Does that help me? No? Let's see. Yeah, right. This is exactly what I want. So in this one over here, we're going to be using describes this random class which gets random numbers, and we're going to be using the one where there's a limit here. This, for example, generates a random integer that is no larger than 20. This one generates one that's no larger than 15. Okay, between 1 and 15, I guess. Doesn't include 0. I don't know. Doesn't matter. So we're gonna does it describe it at all? Yeah. Let me just take a peek at this. I want to make sure. Okay, +1. All right, that's what we got. Yeah, so it's 0 to 19. This is the maximum. Of course, that's how it is. Okay, so yeah, we're going to use next int, And it comes with when we create an instance of this class here. So let's go back to this one. Oh, wrong one. This one. Okay. Done looking at this. And so we start out by, this is the method they give us to print, so we don't have to worry about that. This is the integer variable that's going to keep track of the number of retries. Okay, a retry happens when you grab a new random integer and you try to put it in, but it's already in there. So yeah, you have to retry again because you're trying to fill up the array. So and so that's going to keep track of that. So we're going to increment that each time we grab a random integer that's already in the array. And this is we're going to use this to grab the random number integer. We're going to set this equal to 0 because we're starting out with that. This creates a new instance, this rangen object, and we're going to use the next int. With that, next int is going to be maxnum, and we're going to keep on doing it until we fill. We're going to use I to increment through this. The I is going to be the index of nums. Nums is going to store the integer of random number, the array of random integers that are unique. There's no duplicates in it. Okay, so that's what this is going to be used for. This creates the hash set that it's an integer hash set that we're going to use to keep track if an integer is already in the array. So while and I'm going to use I, while I, because that's going to be the index, starts out at 0. While I is less than how many? We got to fill up, do this. Grab a random integer, next rand, I'm going to use this variable, equals what is it called? It's called rangen dot next int. And this is the maximum it can be, so I'm going to use that. Max. No. So I've grabbed the random integer, and then I'm going to try to add this random integer. I'm going to try to add it into my already seen array. The already seen array is going to store, it's going to be a set, it's going to store the set of integers that have already, that we've already put into the, so if already seen, add next rand. See, so next rand. So we're going to try to add it. If it fails, then that means it's already in there. And if it fails, it's already in there. And then that means we want to no. Yeah, if it fails, okay, yeah, right. If it fails, it's already in there. If it's successful, it means, in other words, if this thing returns true, I'm just going to put it there because I get confused, but you might not. If this is true, then that means that we were successful in adding it into the already seen array, which means it wasn't in there already, which means we can go ahead and add it into the this array. That's where we're keeping track. So now I want to do it this way. Num I, and then after I this equals next rand, and then we can increment I, and then And then we're done. Now we got to do the else of this. If this fails, that means it's already in there. If it fails, it's already in there, which means we can we have to increment the number of retries, because we tried to put one in, it's already in there. We grabbed the new one, try to put it in, it's already in there. We got to retry because we're trying to fill up trying to get I to go all the way up to how many. Otherwise, else retries, increment retries. Oh, and we got to close the while loop. In Python, you have to close your loops. No, I'm sorry. In Java, you have to close your loops. In Python, you don't. You just tab out to the. Okay, so so while this is that way, while this is less than how many, it means we haven't filled up the array yet. Increment I, go back around again. If it turns out that this random number, this newly random number that we generated is already seen, then that means this will fail and this will execute. And it'll just increment the number of retries. Of course, I does not get incremented because we didn't add anything new into this. And at the end, it returns the array, this num array. Oops, am I spelling something wrong? Nums, it's nums, not num. All right, so let's just try this. Copy, paste, and run it. All right, I didn't mean to actually complete it for you, but there you go. Thanks for watching.